Robert Kenneth Bobby Beausoleil is a former associate of the Charles Manson family, who is serving a life sentence in prison for the murder of music teacher and associate Gary Hinman on July 27, 1969. By some accounts, Beausoleil's personal attractiveness made him the Manson family's main recruiter of young women. He was a promising musician in addition to being an aspiring poet and actor at the time of the Hinman murder. Early life. Beausoleil was born on November 6, 1947, to a working-class family in Santa Barbara, CA. Beausoleil's father was a milkman. Beausoleil was a good-looking but rebellious youth. By 15, he was sent to reform school. After reform school, Beausoleil drifted between San Francisco and Los Angeles. Beausoleil was involved in music and acting. In 1966, Beausoleil joined several rock bands such as The Milky Way and Love. In 1967, Beausoleil met Kenneth Anger and had a part in Anger's film Lucifer Rising. In 1969, Beausoleil was living with Gary Hinman when Beausoleil began associating with Charles Manson and his cult. Murder of Gary Hinman. As described in the book Helter Skelter, Gary Hinman was killed over money and property that Manson claimed Hinman owed the family. It also served as the first of a series of murders committed by the family to start Helter Skelter, a war that Manson had preached to his family that would happen in the summer of 1969. Accompanying Beausoleil that night were Susan Atkins and Mary Brunner, both later involved in other murders and crimes. Beausoleil claims that Hinman supplied him with a batch of bad mescaline that Beausoleil in turn sold to the Straight Satan's motorcycle gang. When the bikers demanded their money back, Manson ordered Beausoleil to Hinman's residence to get the money. Hinman is said to have refused to pay, saying, "I don't have any money to give you." Beausoleil called Manson back at Span Ranch to tell him that no money was forthcoming. Beausoleil, Atkins, and Brunner then held him captive in his own home in an attempt to convince him to refund the money. Manson arrived and proceeded to slice off a part of Hinman's ear with a sword. Atkins and Brunner stitched it up with dental floss afterwards. Manson then ordered Beausoleil to kill Hinman and told him to make it look as if the crime had been committed by black revolutionaries, as he had been predicting to his family that a race war was imminent. Beausoleil stabbed Hinman to death as Hinman chanted a Buddhist chant. Afterwards, he wrote the words, "Political piggy," on a wall in Hinman's blood in an attempt to lead police to believe the murder was done by a group of radicals. After he wrote the words, Beausoleil dipped his hand in Hinman's blood and left a paw print, symbolizing the Black Panthers, in order to mislead the investigators of Hinman's murder. Beausoleil was subsequently arrested on August 6, 1969 after falling asleep in Hinman's broken-down Fiat alongside the highway at Cuesta Grade, a steep segment of U.S. Route 101 between San Luis Obispo and Atascadero. At Beausoleil's two trials for the murder, the defense mentioned nothing about the murder being the result of a drug transaction gone wrong. His first revelation of this came in 1981, 12 years after the murders, in an interview published in We magazine. In that interview, he denied that Manson had come to the Hinman residence during the event that led to the murder, although he later reversed himself about that aspect. This is the version that Beausoleil currently maintains as truth. Also, conspirator Susan Atkins had stated before her death that she never heard any mention by Beausoleil indicating that the reason they went to Hinman's residence had anything to do with a drug transaction. See Helter Skelter for more details on the murders perpetrated by Charles Manson and members of his family. Imprisonment. On April 18, 1970, a Superior Court jury in Los Angeles found Beausoleil, aged 22, guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced him to death. His sentence was commuted to life imprisonment where the California Supreme Court ruled the then prevailing death penalty statutes unconstitutional in 1972. He is currently serving his sentence in Oregon State Penitentiary. Beausoleil's 2010 parole bid was denied, with the next scheduled hearing in 2015. Film roles. Beausoleil was to star in Kenneth Anger's Lucifer Rising, but little was shot before Beausoleil and Anger had a falling out and the project was abandoned. Some of the footage later appeared in Invocation of My Demon Brother. He also appeared in a softcore porn film titled The Ramrodder, which also featured his friend Catherine Sher, who went on to become a full-fledged member of the Manson family. This film was shot, in part, at the infamous Span Ranch. Beausoleil had a brief appearance as Cupid in the 1967 film Mondo Hollywood, a documentary about the social, political and cultural climate of Los Angeles featuring a wide cast of Hollywood figures, including hairstylist J. Sebring, who was also murdered by the family. Music career. Circa 1965, Beausoleil was a member of Arthur Lee's band The Grassroots, which later changed its name to Love. Lee claimed to have bestowed the nickname Bummer Bob on Beausoleil due to a drug burn. Beausoleil claims that Lee named his band Love in reference to another of his many nicknames, Cupid. Circa 1966. Beausoleil joined a band called The Orchestra. Bandmate David LaFlamme went on to greater success with It's a Beautiful Day. Following his stint in the orchestra, Beausoleil put together the band he called the Magic Powerhouse of Oz. In the late 1970s, with the permission of the prison, he composed and recorded the soundtrack for Kenneth Anger's movie Lucifer Rising. The official Beausoleil soundtrack was released on CD in 2004. He has also recorded and released 2 albums of instrumental material. In 2005, a selection of his artwork exhibited in Clare Obscure Gallery, Los Angeles. Just prior to the exhibition, the gallery exhibited photos of Sharon Tate. The parole board, in denying parole in 2005, stated that this display and marketing of Beausoleil's artwork was exploitative of the victims and showed a lapse of judgment by Beausoleil. In 2013, the Lucifer Rising suite was re-released for the last time on LP. This anthology documents the entire Lucifer Rising soundtrack project from its earliest beginnings in 1967 to its ultimate completion and delivery to the filmmaker in 1979. In addition to the actual soundtrack, alternate themes, musical and soundscape experiments, and some live performances are contained in the box set. All of those recordings were acquired from the original open-reel tapes and meticulously restored and mastered for vinyl by Robert Verbrake. In 2014, a CD version of the boxed set was released. This album package has all of the features of the LP version scaled down to compact disc size. Bobby Beausoleil in literature. Truman Capote interviewed Bobby Beausoleil while the latter was imprisoned in San Quentin State Prison in San Quentin, California. Capote then published the interview in the form of a short story, Then It All Came Down, included in Music for Chameleons. Bobby Beausoleil's response to the Capote interview can be read here in its entirety. Filmography. 1967. Mondo Hollywood. 1969. The Ramrodder. 1969. Invocation of My Demon Brother. 1972. Lucifer Rising. Discography. Studio albums 1981. Lucifer Rising. 1997. Running with the White Wolf. 1998. Mantra. Soundscapes for Meditation. 2001. Orb. 2002. 7. 2009. The Orchestra. Experiments in Electric Orchestra from the San Francisco Psychedelic Underground, 1966–69. 2013. Dancing Hearts, a Fiery ULP. 2014. Orb ULP. Compilations 2007. Dreamways of the Mystic, Volume 1, 2007. Dreamways of the Mystic, Volume 2, 2009. The Lucifer Rising Suite reissued in 2013. 2014. The Lucifer Rising Suite CD boxed set. Singles 2013. Red House 2014. OM's Law 2014. Angel 2014. Who Do You Love 2015. Ghost Highway